Okay, they're still here. Thank goodness. I don't know what I'd do if they just left. Now we're gone. I'm gonna shine my flashlight in your face again, okay?
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Titus does not look particularly happy to see you. I found 8 sets of footprints. Now let's go down the line. The hangman in the backyard, did you do it?
So, you're not just here to swing your big dick. You're here for the pretty boy. A real looker, that one. Stinks like shit, too.
He shakes his head.
They love him, boss. Spend all day digging around in there. Can't get enough of that pretty boy smell.
Funny, but my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Why is there a container belt around the dead man's neck?
Container belt? Like we use in the harbor?
Yes.
Because we took it from the harbor where we work. Then we went out back and used it to hang him. We did this together, all of us, until he was dead. That's why there's a container belt around his neck.
So you just confessed a murder?
Goddamn right.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic. They're playing to their considerable strength in numbers. Don't talk about arresting them. You'll only bring attention to your inability to do so.
So you murdered him just like that, no remorse?
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
We enforce the law. You just kill people like it's nothing.
But you see, a lawman, is something people agree upon. And here in Martinez, we agreed that this man had to die.
He squeezes his beer can. Who called the shots that night?
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardie boy without arresting all Hardie boys. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
A shadow of a smirk passes her lips and she tilts her head.
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation. Titus, keep addressing him. He wants everyone to know he's in charge.
Okay, address Titus. Who called the shots around here? Seriously.
Who do you fucking think does?
He sounds more amused than angry. Point at Titus, you do, you give the commands. Or wants everyone to know he's in charge. Would he be more offended if I pointed somebody else? Let's point at him.
That's right, asshole. Titus Hardie runs the Hardie Boys. Ain't that so, fellas?
He looks around for approval.
I think you got your answer, Mr. Law.
No, you did not get an answer. Titus does administrative work. He pushes paper, fills out forms. The others can't read. But on that night, they all acted as one man.
When did this hanging incident occur?
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
The fixer turns to remind Titus.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
Takes a sip. How long have you known the victim?
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that, asshole.
Yeah! Who do you think we are?
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town. Happy?
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier, the representative for White Pines? The same company you're striking against?
The lieutenant pretends to check his notes.
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But you know what?
He rubs his chin, pretending to mull it over.
This is where he tries to sow discord between you two, because he knows the company is responsible for bringing the mercenaries into town.
Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, Your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
Why did you kill him?
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out alive in my town.
That's it?
And he stepped out of line.
He repeats, jaw clamped shut like a vice.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Kohoi and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade. Right here in our bar.
The man spreads his arms.
This one has a special gripe with him coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara.
How do you even know his special forces?
'Cause one night he walked straight up to the mic and said, I'm Oranese goddamn special forces, and I'm gonna fuck you all.
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some Oranese paratrooper song, and said he's gonna fuck everyone.
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did, right there. Like some kind of animal.
He points at the stage.
Sire, the tale is true. This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Okay, but what did he actually do wrong? Besides crimes against karaoke.
Wrong? He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
He wipes spittle from his mouth.
From rape to harassment to threats of violence. Why the strange de-escalation? He regrets mentioning it. Hopes you didn't notice.
To kill us all, if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. That was before he started coming here.
He cracks his knuckles.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started coming here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grabbed one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
He grabbed someone?
The lieutenant is trying to make sense of this flood of information.
Yeah. This girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Shakes his head in disbelief. Is this the same girl who was raped?
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the girl out before anything else could happen.
Yeah, me and Eugene got her out. Aren't you fucking listening?
There's something odd here. Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious allegation. Make them talk about it.
Okay, who did he rape then?
No, you're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter, and I'm not discussing it with you clowns.
Alright, tell me how you killed him.
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real still. Wasn't that obvious, copper?
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
You're pretty sure you've had at least 2 years of cop school and many more of active service.
The autopsy showed there were no ligature marks. His hands were not tied. Can you explain that?
Look, I'm not gonna play 20 questions with you, capo. I'll say it again. We killed him.
He looks even more irritated than before.
Yeah, I knocked him out. Came up behind him and clapped him in the back of the head. He went down like a sack of sand.
The tattooed one speaks up, banging on his chest.
That's right, lawman. And then we hanged the fuck.
He spits through his teeth.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then see if it all adds up.
What did you use to knock the victim out?
My fucking elbow, Copper. Samaran boxing style.
He looks you straight in the eye.
He may be lying, but he's good at it. No twitching, no rushing, no uncalled for details.
And, where did all this action take place?
Right fucking here. Eugene already told you that the fuck had started coming to our bar.
He spreads his hands.
Yeah, man. Weren't you listening?
Composure. I have stuff that could help with composure. I think I can come back, maybe. I have some other questions.
Like what, Copper?
How does the bullet in the head factor in all this?
Huh?
A sip of beer makes the surprise go down easier.
There was a bullet in the dead man's brain. Why was it there if you hanged him?
How the fuck do I know? Anyone could have shot him. Target practice, maybe.
Another sip. He's tight-lipped suddenly.
Interesting, sire. It's as if he's lying to protect someone. He's not very good at it.
This line of questioning is over. You got the cause of death already? Hanging. If there's any post-mortem trauma, it's your problem. This will not turn into a cross-examination.
This was a good move. Also, notice how Titus doesn't like her much, especially when she's calling the shots.
Alright, let me go back into how did you kill him?
We hang.
Didn't they take
You're pretty...
The autopsy?
Yeah.
That's right.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then see if it all adds up.
Oh gosh.
Titus is solid as a rock, and so are a few others. But
Alright, who's solid?
Elaine, who looks like he might be Titus's right-hand man, the least antsy of the bunch. Definitely not his first time being questioned by the police. This little rat-faced fellow is solid too. Always fidgety, yes, but no change there. Him neither. Mostly keeps to his tomato juice, or whatever he's got there.
And who's cracking? This one. Whoa, he's sweating profusely and has difficulty breathing. They've smartly kept him out of the conversation thus far. Definitely the weakest link in the chain. Turn to the big guy. You having trouble breathing over there?
No.
He looks up, startled, his forehead shiny from the sweat. A few coiled locks are peeking out from under his warm woolen hat.
Of course he's having trouble breathing. Just look at how fucking fat he is.
Fuck off, Shanky. Angus is a powerful guy. All muscle.
Keep your eye on this powerful guy. Sooner or later, he's going to break like a piece of twig.
There's something you're not telling me.
And fuck you, too, Copper. Picking on Angus like this. We're done with this schoolyard shit. And just so you know, he doesn't have trouble breathing.
His all-muscle comment wasn't sarcastic. He's genuinely trying to look out for Angus. This one is a stone wall. You won't get more out of them about the night of the murder. Not yet.
Okay, so I'm done with that.
Like what, Copper?
And the only thing I have left... Why don't I just arrest you? Step closer to Titus.
Yeah, lawman. Why don't you?
He takes a step closer as well, fixing his ball cap.
It's almost an anthropological sight, watching him try to assert dominance over you. Weren't you warned to not go down this path? And yet you still go and do it.
Not in the arresting mood?
His mean little eyes come alive with hatred.
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster. You hear the nylon of his coat hiss as he steps closer. Easy. Walk back from the provocation. They're armed, and they outnumber us. The lieutenant tries to establish eye contact with you.
All right, I will back off.
Wise move. You made the right choice there. Now make another one and get the fuck out of our booth. We're not gonna do this again.
We are concluding the questioning.
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinez, go back to your stations where you belong.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't add up here, Titus.
The lieutenant closes his notebook.
I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder. Even if it is a group responsibility, we're going to look into this.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us, real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating.
He grabs another beer.
Rent-a-cop. So that's what this is about. He doesn't see you as his equals.
You still haven't explained the bullet I found on the hangman's head.
You still on about that bullet? A bullet in a hangman's head. You're right, Copper. That is mighty curious.
He pats the back of his head.
Indeed. Mighty. How did it get there?
The lieutenant is fixed on Titus.
Well, there are so many bullets in the world, and so many heads.
He gives you an indulgent look.
I guess it's only logical. At some point, one of them bullets had to end up in one of them heads.
It's bound to happen again, you know? Just statistically speaking, of course.
He taps on his right temple.
Sire, it would be an event most dramatic if you were to produce the bullet and dangle it before their very eyes.
Okay, let's do that. I'm going to ask you again. Why was this? Show them the bullet in the victim's head.
Wow! He's got it in a real evidence bag and all!
The little man leans in to inspect the laden blossom.
Why don't you go home and log it into evidence? These men have told you what happened.
I think the hanging was a cover-up for the shooting.
You know what I think? I think he was shot in the head as a kid, and his brain grew around the bullet.
Not very likely.
Around the bullet, man. That's a good one.
Elaine punches the root of his nose.
All the goofing around is to avoid lying. It's a technique. They're only pretending to enjoy this. Beneath the act, they don't like you knowing this.
Why did you shoot him?
Shit! I probably did shoot him. I was drunk last night. You guys know me when I'm drunk.
He throws back his head.
Yeah, Glenn likes to shoot his guns when he's drunk. Better hope he stays sober.
The little guy looks you in the eye.
No, he meant before he was hanged. Did you shoot him before you hanged him?
Before? After? During? This is getting ridiculous. They told you what happened. Stop wasting your time.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out sooner or later.
Never been worried in my life, lawman.
He crosses his hairy arms, having forgotten his beer for a moment.
It's not like he blew it wide open, but there's a little crack in there, somewhere.
I found 8 sets of footprints, but there's only 7 of you. Where's the 8th Hardie boy? Actually, let me save. I feel the need to save. And do I have anything hurting authority right now? Okay. I need to put this back on. Nice to know you can turn those on and off. Okay, no, it doesn't look like it. I know this hurts. No? Yes, that hurts authority. Okay, cool.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Yeah, I found 8 sets of footprints, but there's only 7 of you. Where's the 8th?
What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardie boy. There's 7 of us, and we're all here.
He sizes you up.
Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardie boy? We ain't hiring.
He shakes his head.
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
This person Glenn wants to hire, he really respects her.
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here. Now what the fuck do you want, cop?
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardie boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardie boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. And
he points at the lieutenant.
You're not cops here. Don't go digging around if you don't want a bullet in the back of your head. I'm watching you.
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
The lieutenant adjusts his spectacles.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a victory. We'll learn more about this 8th Hardie sooner or later.
Well, I've connected you to the local drug trade.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 Kilos.
He leans back, unruffled.
We'll do that. In the meantime, did you know that there's an abandoned lorry at the intersection that was used to move raw ingredients for drugs from Terminal B to Jamrock?
He points south.
The person driving it was present at the hanging. It was one of you. We've connected the footprint. Detective, do you want to deliver the coup de grâce?
He taps on his notebook, then turns to you.
No, the thunder is his. Leave it to the lieutenant.
Okay. You do the honor.
Thank you. You're right, Titus. There is no local drug trade because it's all controlled by you. You're the drug trade.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
He rubs his jaw, smiling.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
So you're admitting to profiting off your own people?
Boo fucking who. People will always be taking drugs. Might as well do it clean and organized.
Yeah, that's what the labor movement is all about. Clean and organized. And the Hardie boys are running it.
Theoretically, of course. We're just talking politics here. My answer to your drug accusation is, how dare you? Go fuck yourself.
Not quite yet, Mr. Hardie. There were 8 sets of prints on the crime scene. There are only 7 Hardie boys here.
And the one who's missing, she runs the thing, right?
My answer is, fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no 8th Hardie. I run this goddamn scene.
He takes a step closer.
Finally, you got something out of him. This could prove useful in the future.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
The woman sighs.
I know. Fatty walked on all 4s. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints.
The little man raises his index finger excitedly.
Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all 4s. Anything else you need to know?
Yes, this is getting higher and higher. I talked to Joyce. The merc you hanged, his friends are coming for you.
Yeah. By friends, you mean his squad mates from Crenell.
He doesn't seem worried.
Wouldn't want to beat up his grandma.
They're snickering in the room. Some of the men put their beers down. They're forming some kind of tribunal and they're coming for you.
This is what happens if you take the law into your own hands. Other people start doing it too.
Let them come. The Hardie boys are right fucking here.
You heard the man. Right here. We're armed. We got the whole district behind us. And Glenn. Glenn is fucking crazy.
He points to the ground.
Yeah, a well-oiled murder machine.
Do you know a single Ceres giant hornet can kill 40 bees in a minute?
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
You're the bees, they're the hornet.
We're not bees. We're men. We're socialists.
Easy, E. He's trying to phase you. What are you trying to do? Scare my men?
The mercenaries are armed with automatic weapons.
We got weapons of our own. We got Ister 50s, Zeelagers. Glenn's got a knock cannon at home.
He cracks open his vest to give you a glimpse of his holster. Will they pierce ceramic armor?
I guess we're gonna see, aren't we?
That was an unsure phrasing.
See what, that they don't?
Yeah, like you've been up against ceramic armor.
He takes a sip of beer to to bide his time, then tries to get the last word in.
You haven't even seen the whole suit, right? I've seen the whole fucking thing, and it didn't make him immortal.
Well, they've gone rogue. No one's controlling them.
Big fucking surprise. They hire psycho scum, arm them to the teeth, and let them loose in the city. What do you think is gonna happen?
You know this Cornell's bad news, right?
So are the local gangs, the fucking Barmy Army, and the Madre scum. You've been out there. Seen any around?
Yeah. Where are they now, huh? Sent back to Madre in an airtight cargo crate.
He points south.
These people are trained military professionals, special forces, as you said. They're not a gang or a barmy army.
No, they're not. They're uncoordinated and drunk. We know more about them than you think.
Okay, if you say so.
What do you mean, okay?
I mean, okay, they're gonna wipe you the fuck out.
No, they won't. Get out of here with your negative energy.
Cool. He shakes his beer at you.
He really doesn't like you ruffling their feathers like that on what might be the eve of battle.
All he means is that the situation is serious.
No wonder you cops get shot to shit every day. Can't go to war with an attitude like that.
All right, I'm gonna save because I'm not losing this roll. I'm not losing it. It's a 72%. I'm not losing it.
It's you again. What is it?
I came to test my authority.
As you look around this room full of sweaty men, swearing, drinking, spitting out tobacco, does this look familiar?
Where have I seen this before?
You believe the place was called Precinct 41. It was also filled with, almost exclusively, men, sitting on desks, talking shit and wasting time. You seen Apricot, old Purdue's daughter? Asks Lieutenant McCoy. Replies Torson. The ass on that one. McCoy shakes his head in appreciation. A bit strange the old man named her Apricot, but, I mean, who am I to judge? Wanna hit the kebab joint?
I get it, Titus. You guys really are the authority around here.
Huh?
You must be. You're just like real cops, drinking beer and sitting around with your dicks in your hand.
You got a problem with beer now?
He leans in.
Not quite there yet. Push on.
No, I'm drunk on the job too. I don't give a shit. I'm a big fan of beer and jerking off instead of helping people.
You saying we don't help people? I've been doing this job for 10 years. Martinez was a dump before we put this outfit together.
He puts the beer down.
They don't know, man. They weren't here. We had 3 shootings a week, kids dead, fucking graffito everywhere. You cops haven't shown up since the 30s.
Congratulations on the graffito removal. All I see is you sitting around talking about Monica's titties while there's a rape victim.
So what? What do you want from me? We took care of that fuck.
He picks the beer back up.
Don't let him drink that. One more push. Quick. Just don't antagonize him. You have this already.
Don't antagonize him? It's not about what you did, it's about the victim. She needs help. Why are you hiding the victim seems like antagonizing him, so I guess this one?
Titus?
He looks to her.
She stops mid-sentence. That's it. You got him. He's going to give it up, but on his terms.
You wanna help her, cop? Fine. I'm gonna let you help her, but you treat her with respect. If you don't, if you question her, harass her, a freight train of pain, buddy.
Titus taps his chin with his fist.
What is her name?
The lieutenant takes out his notes.
Glacia, I'm on due. She's staying here at the Whirling in Rags, a real pretty one. Silvery jumpsuit, blonde. That's I'm on due, with an O-U.
Titus adjusts his cap.
Shit. The girl.
The girl upstairs.
The girl upstairs? That can't be her. She knows you drank so hard you forgot you were a cop.
Oh, it's her! It's definitely her!
Jesus.
It's Miss Oranje, disco dancer!
Miss Aranya, disco dancer? Correct your tie. Oh, fuck. Said you don't remember reality. Shit. Correct your tie.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Blonde. Tall. 2 rooms over from yours.
I can't keep my cool. I really can't keep my cool. Oh, and I stuttered and it was bad. Oh, no. Oh, no. Don't die. Damn
You
it.
inexplicably add cool after the victim's name, with your eyes bulging like some wild beast. Your fingers are fidgeting and sweat starts forming on your brow as Titus looks at you oddly.
I don't understand what's so cool here.
It's not cool. I'm dying. I'm slowly dying.
Nothing. We just have a few more questions. Then we'll be on our way.
He gives you a sideways glance.
Whatever you do not tell him you know her. That would sound off.
I should tell him. I should be honest with Kim.
Calm. Normal. Try to forget this little hiccup.
When did the rape occur?
He did it before we killed him. He's not gonna do it again. So what does it matter?
He crushes his half-empty beer can.
It would help if we establish a timeline.
All right. 2 weeks, maybe? I don't know. I need another beer.
He turns to Glenn.
Here you go, boss.
And, what's your relationship with her? Scratch your head. I don't think we need... What was her relationship with the mercenary? That sounds stupid. All right, we'll just leave. We're done. We'll talk to her.
Remember what I said. Freight train of pain.
He points his beer can at you. Let's heal this, shall we? Kim, come over here, please.
Officer, what was that?
The sweating and the fidgeting?
Yes.
And the quivering jello thing with the eye, point to your twitching eye.
Yes.
I think I know that woman.
The victim? Is there something I should know before we talk to her?
Whatever you do, don't say the first thing.
I didn't rape her, Jesus. I met her in the hallway after I woke up.
Understood. You were not in good shape on Monday.
She knows I don't remember being a cop.
Okay, that's manageable.
I tried to hit on her.
Understood.
He's stone-faced. Kim. It went pretty okay, I guess.
It doesn't matter how it went, officer. What else?
There's nothing else, that's it.
We'll be alright, officer. This is nothing.
Okay.
You feel fortified by his assurance. It's going to be alright.
Kim, you healed my morale again.
Is it though? Nothing? You're still in for a bumpy ride here. Try not to mess it up.
That wasn't so bad. Let's go this way. I want to talk to Joyce while I'm remembering that I need to talk to Joyce. What's happening here? I don't understand what is going on. Oh, I have skill points. Okay, cool. I want to level up Shivers. And I have another skill point. I just want that one. And I guess I want to leave these alone for now. Let's go find Joyce. I guess I don't need this flashlight anymore. I'll stop carrying this stuff around.
You're back. Good.
I had something.
What can I help you with?
I needed questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
We already did this. But I guess I'll do it again?
What is all of this?
Yeah, what in the...
The scent, the sound, The air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The fading pearls of her eyes look to the sea.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough. There is a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
I guess the world doesn't deserve a term of endearment.
There are those who would call it hell.
And what's hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I don't feel like I got the whole picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
She raises her finger to her lips. How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
Inside sideways? What shape is this world then?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG. Occident Revichol-Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
What is that?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
What the heck is pale?
A cold fear seeps into you.
What are you telling me?
You seem to be spooked. Please don't be.
Her voice becomes homely, calm. She lets a moment pass. What do you mean by pale and corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's going to bring anyone together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Guess if you say it's disco.
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
What is pale?
The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. We do have a case to attend to.
The lieutenant looks at his watch.
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
No, I want to know what the pale is.
I don't think your colleague would appreciate that. He has already been so patient with this whole exercise. Let's continue with something else, all right? You can ask about anything else in the world.
I have to come back without
Anything.
Kim.
But she wants to tell you.
Okay.
This is not going to happen with the lieutenant present, unless you can convince him to step aside.
All right, well, volition's high.
Good idea. Just ask him. He won't make a scene.
Can I talk to her alone for a second?
Fine.
He steps away with his notes.
See? What can he do? You're a grown man.
Okay, what is the Pale?
Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant.
What is the Pale?
Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
And what's an isla?
Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the Pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7. Mundi, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde.
And Insulinde is...
An oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear.
And what is the Pale like?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
And it's here? Look around.
No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the isla.
She points to the sea.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
6,000 kilometers from the end of the world?
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer.
And point north. There?
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the Pale is called porch collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
What are its physical qualities?
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible.
If we're surrounded by Pale, how do we get from Isola to Isola?
Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor. Firm. Self-evident.
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged.
The Pale can damage the mind?
Extensively.
How?
Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
Who says and who argues?
Yeah, that one.
The logical positivists say, the dialectical materialists argue.
And what does this over-radiation feel like?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
You're not a civilian passenger?
No, nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I am a member of the Entropanetic Business Class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually.
Perhaps that explains her strange pining after the revolution. Some degraded early memories. Someone else you've met may have been exposed as well. The strange grey-haired woman in her lorry.
Do lorry drivers pass the Pale?
Yes, carried in the hulls of airships. It's a horrific job. Automation will abolish it soon.
That poor woman must have stories to tell, like you wouldn't imagine.
Are you overradiated?
Up to my gills, officer.
What's entropinetic?
Entroponetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E-Solar. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere, even then, surrounding them.
Did they cross it?
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
What has entroponetics changed then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Aerostatic craft?
Hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely.
And if we don't?
Then they don't.
How much Pale is there compared to the world?
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping.
Slipping how?
What do you think, Detective?
Slipping to our detriment?
Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
But it's not extreme, it's going to happen.
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
Off we go into the wild Pale yonder?
One and all. They say Pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
Alright, let's return to reality, please.
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
I don't have any idea what you just told me, woman. I have no idea. I sometimes sense vague shadows of a past, and it's not good.
Then tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
I have no idea what the heck it is. Its advance can only be stopped with immediate, total, ruthless communism. It's an anti-communist force, too powerful. Doesn't sound very liberal to me. Don't know how you've all survived with it. Who am I to think anything of it? It's terrifying. It'll end all life?
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes tense. Crow's feet radiate from them. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swollen face.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
This investigation will be my masterpiece, the one to remember me by. I'm in serious trouble. It'll be a fucking disaster, I know it. Sure, it'll be my masterpiece.
I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile...
Some of that assurance is meant for herself. as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
You have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
She gives you a slight bow.
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now?
That was fucking intense, Kim.
Yes, well, the rest of us have dealt with it for thousands of years, so...
He looks around a little uncomfortable now. Is the pale just impending? Like one day the Earth will be swallowed up by the sun and the universe will cease to exist? Is that what we're talking about? I'm very confused.
You will have to deal with it, too, the lieutenant thinks. This is why I didn't want you to know.
Well, I think we're done with the reality lowdown, but I'm just going to double check.
I am happy to oblige.
Yeah, we're done.
Glad to have been of assistance.
I don't know what I just experienced.